Welcome to Friday. With me, Charlie Murray. I'm back from my overseas mission. And this week, I have Juan Turner in the hot seat with me.
We've missed you. I've missed you. I say we've missed you. We haven't missed you at all, but I have.
I'm so delighted.
You left me with the lefty.
I know. I mean, there's worse lefties to be left with.
Yeah, and he didn't put on a spread like this.
Well, you only get this from people that are born with a silver spoon in their mouth.
Absolutely. So we thought we would go, full on silver spoon. You've got the best napkins out here. Absolutely. We're going to get used to this.
I don't mess around, Juan. If I'm putting this on, it's getting put on properly.
Yes.
So I'm not going to give you crappy, shitty cutlery and crappy, shitty food.
But I can't see the silver spoon. Where is it?
It's so far up my arse, you'll never find it.
Anyway, yes, if people are just tuning in wondering what on earth we're talking about, we were, of course, flashing back to last week. You got a bit of stick from a fan.
Yes.
Who said that they didn't want to listen to Charlie Murray and Sam Turton. Didn't mention me, though, did they?
No.
So they're probably good.
You're apparently amazing.
Well, it took me ages to write that post. And they said that you were, born with a silver spoon in your mouth. I mean, they're not far wrong, are they? Wasn't it plated gold or something?
Well, but before they came for me on that front, they did basically say Sam and I are crap at our jobs and we're awful journalists. I think what they don't like is people having an opinion, which I appreciate as a journalist. It's a bit of an odd one, but we do a lot of things that's very unbiased and we don't put our opinion on it. But equally, we do put our opinion out there at times, which is clearly stated in some of the articles that it is an opinion. But
Charlie's angle.
Yes. And equally, I think we ask questions that a lot of other people don't, and we don't just take the government spiel for the government spiel. No,
and I think it's important as well because I don't mind, if you put your opinion out there and I put mine out there, that if somebody wants to come back and have an opposing view and say, I think you've got that wrong, that's great, let's do it. But what I can't be doing with is these snivelling little shysters who hide behind a fake name. Yeah. If you've got something to say, well, I respect the view. As we had a bit of a joke there about Sam, politically, we're completely opposite. We don't get nasty with each other and we don't hide behind a fake name. So any sniveller that comes on here and starts hiding behind false names, we'll just ban you. We'll just ban you. But no, seriously, if people, it's good for people to have different opinions and we want to hear them.
Well, absolutely. I think that's a massive part of our job that often isn't spoken about. And maybe it's not the same everywhere, but definitely with us, I think the thing that we always want to do is create conversation and get news into the public domain and have people talking about it. Because I think up until the past few years, especially within the younger generation, it wasn't being spoken about. News all of a sudden seemed like this thing that people just do in offices and it's whatever, it doesn't actually affect us. But actually, generally, so many of the decisions that are made in that big white building affect every single person on this island. And whether you agree with what we say or you disagree with it, I don't really care, as long as you're talking about it. Yeah, and I think that's the bit that you kind of go in on. But yeah, so they like to slag Sam and I off, and then I tend to get a bit more of a ripping because I suppose I'm at times a little bit more vocal than Sam is on certain topics.
You haven't noticed.
No, but yes, no, I was then told I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I actually got a bit annoyed about this.
Oh, you did? Yes. She did, viewer.
I only got annoyed because I'm very aware that I was born with an element of privilege. I think the majority of people on this island were, whether they actually like to admit it or not, were born with privilege. I was definitely born with privilege.
I find that whole discussion fascinating. Go on, what was the privilege?
Oh, for me?
Yes.
Well, I've obviously had horses since I was a child. I was born into a farming family. And I didn't, there's privilege within that. Like having horses themselves is a luxury, it's a complete luxury. But I think what people then don't realise is from the age of when I can remember, I was working on a farming family. I was still having to go out and help with everything. And then when we set up the livery yard, little Muggins here, who wasn't even at secondary school age, was out there at 6 o'clock in the morning mucking out horses.
So basically what you're saying is that, yes, you did have horses, but to pay for them, you ended up shoveling shit.
I shovelled shit when everyone else was sleeping.
Yeah.
Up until the past year, I would say, I hadn't really had lions. They were not a thing that ever featured in my life. People won't also understand the amount of driving jobs I've done or cleaning jobs I've done or the amount of random jobs that I've not wanted to do, but guess what? Someone had to pay for it,
Yeah.
so I had to go get a job and do it.
But there's another side of this. I don't think you should have to go on any further because I don't think you should have to justify yourself to somebody having a pop online who can't even have big enough balls to say who they are.
I know.
So, you know, quite honestly, bollocks to them. Is this all just for show, or can we actually have some of this?
You can definitely have some of this.
Can I have a pan of chocolate?
I suppose
I'm going to try not to eat and talk at the same time because we'll get people writing in about that.
And if you could definitely, whilst you're eating,
you don't want me to soil the napkin. You don't want me to chomp.
No, I don't want you to chomp. That's going to really stress me out. But anyway, enough about us. We're quite boring.
Yes.
But I was on holiday, if you didn't know.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about that.
You're not going to talk about my holiday?
No. It's not something where you've just happened to got the slideshow set up for
I haven't actually. I've not got on the projector ready to get the whole thing.
Let's get down to business.
Right.
What have we got this week? Because we've had the UK budget, which a lot of people say, well, that doesn't really affect us. Well, of course it does.
Oh,
in a big way.
It does.
So we'll come to that in a minute. But what, since you've been away, what's caught your eye in the news this week?
Well, I've only literally just got back. I've not exactly been back for long, so I've not actually been back 24 hours. So we'll try and get into it. But what I noticed whilst I was away, because obviously, although I was on holiday, if you didn't know.
Sorry, you're going to have to keep talking until I finish my mouthful of this.
I did have a look at everything that was going on and tried to, the best of my ability, keep myself in the loop. I found it interesting that the area plan got chucked out again. Obviously, that's sort of old news. That was last week's Tynwald sitting, wasn't it? I was fairly not surprised in the slightest that the Treasury Minister is not taking on board the local economy forum's suggestions and, I suppose, requests. Would that be correct in saying? Regarding the minimum wage?
Well, what they've done is Treasury officials have obviously spent, since the big meeting that we were at the Palace, they've obviously spent their time trying to come up with a load of reasons why that can't happen. And that's what government departments do. They constantly go on the defensive because there is great shame in being seen to back down. And there shouldn't be any shame. That's their view. Mm-hmm. I think the public would respect them a lot more if they just said, we've got this wrong, we're going to, and I don't like the phrase, lessons have been learned, because they never learn lessons.
No.
But they should just say, we've got this wrong and we're going to change it. But yeah, he's basically poo-pooed the whole idea and said, we're going to have a meeting. Now, if you remember from that meeting we were at, a lady stood up and said, we're sick of meetings. She said, we've had meetings, we're sick of meetings. You come to the meetings, you nod your head, and then you ignore us. So this is just another nonsense, isn't it?
Oh, it's just complete... I don't think it's going to change. But with that said, I don't think people should back off from this now, either. I think the local economy forum should continue to put pressure on. And I think those MHKs that are in the Keys that actually have sense about them should keep trying to fight the good fight. Because I'm not going to go on about minimum wage because I could talk about it for the rest of the day.
Well, we probably will because it came up in the UK budget. So we might go into that. Yeah, sorry, Sam.
But
did try.
The problems from it are astronomical, and I don't know how anyone can sit there and think it's a good idea, because equally, where does it end?
Well, we've already had, haven't we, and we have drifted into this, I suppose we're talking about the same thing, but we've drifted into this where we had an announcement last week that a freight haulier is putting the prices up 5%. That's going to impact all the goods, even down to, things that we need, ingredients and stuff. So it started already. And I was also, when I was in the barber's having my hair cut last week, the girl who cuts my hair actually said that she is friends with someone who does welding. Now, welding It's a specialist job. There's a real skill to it. And that person is now no longer taking on an apprentice because it's not affordable any longer. It's just tipped over the balance for them. So it's easier for them to say, do you know what? I'm not going to do that. I need to concentrate on my own business because I've got my own bills to pay. So already the ripple effect is starting to take hold and it hasn't even come in yet.
I've also heard of farriers doing the exact same thing, so blacksmiths, which again,
Right.
you know, oh god, no, horsey bitch. But yeah, like farriers are a bit of a dying trade within the industry. We need them. They're very important. And I've noticed that not just here, but also in the UK, farriers are now not taking on apprentices. So I think it's very concerning for those kind of jobs because, again, like welding, blacksmith, sort of, you know, I would have said fairly similar-ish trades, actually. Those trades are going to be really affected because they aren't going to be able to afford to bring in an apprentice. So then what happens long term? Where are we then getting people to replace
Well,
them?
this is the problem, and the problem is government are trying to fill their black hole instead. And this is what really pisses me off with all governments, councils, right across the board. They are in the public sector and they have no idea on how to raise money because their income, if we're in business now and we're selling these pain au chocolat, and we decide, right, okay, we're going to put the price up, we need more money, we're going to put the price up on them, our customers decide, well, actually, I'm not going to buy them off you anymore, I'm not going to have them. But the public sector, what they do is they say, I'm going to put your car tax up, whatever it is, however much amount, it doesn't really matter. And of course, if you don't pay that, then you're committing a criminal offence. So you then get prosecuted, fined, blah, 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 blah. So they have a guaranteed level of income. That's the same with everything, with rates, with charges, with sewerage, with water. They just screw people. What they should be doing is looking at their own cloth and saying, we've got to make some savings. So all these paper shufflers they've got in all of these departments, they should just say, well, what do you do? If you didn't come into work for the next week, would the whole of the place collapse?
No, it wouldn't.
We wouldn't bloody notice.
You know what? We might actually get a better service because they might have to work a bit more efficiently and get stuff done.
And the problem with the public sector is the guys and girls who are actually doing the doing are the ones that are so short-staffed and under-resourced. They're the ones they always say, well, you wanted more doctors and nurses, you know, piss off with that gaslighting us. You might have hired a few, yeah, but what you haven't told us is the 30 people in administration and project management, policy, all these absolute nothing jobs, carbon assessment officers. There's a whole, I could go through every department like a dose of salts and clear out probably millions of pounds worth of jobs that are just not required. At the end of the day, people sat in their homes want a certain range of services. Now, I know you have to have some admin staff, but, and I don't want to go down the road of naming particular roles because that obviously might end up targeting individual people, whoever they are. But the point I'm making is that right across the government, there's all these people. They need to cut the cloth, which is a very long-winded way of saying. And that's the difference. They don't understand. The private sector, ultimately, when we don't sell enough of these pain au chocolat, we then think, right, we're now going to have to close. Yeah. They don't.
No, of course they don't.
They just hike the price up.
They'll just take more from you, thank you very much.
That's exactly what they do. And then what happens is we're in a cycle which many of them have not been in that situation where the Isle of Man is on its arse and they are destroying the place left, right and centre. They're over-regulating it, business is leaving, but at the moment the magic money tree is still paying their wages every month.
It can't continue to. It cannot continue to, and I don't know how it takes a brain of Britain to work that one out. It's the classic of, we'll just print more money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, of course.
We'll just print more.
Well, they of course can't print more money, but what they do is they print more money by charging us more. And then they say, well, it's the cost of these. No, you cretin. You're the ones causing the costs to go up.
Well, they're all in stealth taxes. They're all in a stealth way of doing it. Because our whole thing here is we're a low tax jurisdiction. Everything's marvellous. Oh, you come here and you'll have more money.
Sorry for speaking with my mouthful, but we're not a low tax jurisdiction.
We're not, because what people don't see is the amount of extras that we end up having to pay. Or equally, take your car tax or your lorry tax. How much would you pay in the UK compared to what you pay here? And I think it's a really interesting one for anyone to go and have a look at how much they're paying here. Maybe this is just for lorries, and that's something that I get really annoyed about.
Well, it's not just lorries. I know for a fact some vehicles are over half the price.
There you go.
Lorries are even more than half the price.
Yes, so my lorry, let's just do rough figures, and this could be out-of-date figures, but it won't be far off. My lorry to tax over here is about £700 a year. In the UK, it's under 200.
Yeah, it's under 200.
Yeah. And I'm getting worse roads, less access to places. I just don't really understand what I'm actually paying that for.
Have you had to lay your driver off now as well? You know?
No, the chauffeur off.
Chauffeur.
I'm the only one that's got the bloody licence.
Well, I think that's the point, isn't it? The Isle of Man used to be low tax. And people go, well, low tax. Tax, of course, was only ever brought in as a temporary measure back in the old days when it was a temporary measure. Was it after the war or something? And of course, now it's been brought in, same as air passenger duty. There's a tax on everything. And the problem with that is when they've got that money, they spend it.
Badly.
Very badly. So, I mean, where have we gone with this? We've started, it's the ripple, I think it's the ripple effect from this minimum wage that's then going to go down the road of causing such a problem. And there's been a lot of sniping. You can tell the ones that are sniping about it. They're people that think that everybody is, Mark Zuckerberg making a lot of money. You know, if you're a business owner, you must be making a fortune.
And you're not allowed to make money. How dare you make money?
But people who have money invest. And take, for example, one of these big houses on the island that some rich persons come in. Well, they're rich, so they must be, terrible. We must target them. Well, hang on. They probably don't use any of our public services.
Yep.
So, they'll have private healthcare. Well, that should be banned. Well, OK, let's ban, like they've done with the private schools. They now have to rely on the public, so the public service. So these wealthy people, they don't use a lot of our public services, so they're not a burden. They pay money in, they should pay more. Well, why should they pay more? They employ, a lot of them have got big houses, they will employ grounds people, gardeners, they will have other staff around their properties doing things. They generally keep them well maintained. So that's giving jobs to builders and joiners and other
And how many
craftsmen.
times will they go out and spend money as well within the local economy?
They will spend money in the local economy. They don't fly all their shopping in from Fortnum and Mason like you do, of course. But I think the point is that we should be welcoming people like that here.
Yes.
And saying, no, you bring your money here, and as long as it's working for our economy, then why not? It's pure lefty, bitter jealousy.
Yeah, it is.
That people want to do it. So let's drive all these people out then. They'll take all their businesses, and then how are we going to pay the bills? It's beggars belief.
I don't know.
And the other thing is, it's quite interesting that when you see some of the comments online and you look down at some of the negative sniping comments, quite a lot of them work in the public sector. Now, there's nothing wrong with working. I know I give the public sector a hard time, but as I said, I've not got a problem with the doctors, the nurses, the teachers, all the frontline people.
The road staff.
The road workers who are out working in terrible weather. The guys at the MEA who are working on the overhead lines in the snow and all that. They're,
Granted, some coppers.
That's really put yeah, there's even one or two policemen.
There's even a few coppers that we quite like, believe it or not.
But the point is that once you get above the workers, as I call it, and you get into the decision makers, we've got some terrible problems there.
Oh, but all you have to do, Juan, to see the difference between them, go onto LinkedIn.
Oh, your favourite LinkedIn.
Go onto LinkedIn and watch all the government workers in these management jobs. Not our actual, the ones we need that are doing the public service, doing the really bloody good job. Those that are in the middle management, all patting themselves on the back. Oh, well done you. Oh, yes, you keep going up the government tree. I think it's embarrassing. I think it's absolutely embarrassing. But I do not see how they can be kind of like in that position and like screaming about it from the rooftops on LinkedIn. I just think it's like...
They're busy being busy. And ironically, that phrase came from a good left-wing friend of mine, the very late Eddie Lowy. I think I've mentioned it on the pod before.
You have mentioned Eddie Lowy,
They're busy
yes.
being busy.
Yep.
They're not actually delivering anything for the public. The public, as I said at the start, they want their kids to go to a school. They want a reasonably safe community. Of course, we all want that. They want to be able to go to the doctor. They want to go to the dentist. They want their elderly relatives to have sufficient care. These are all the key things. But what happens is politicians then go, well, the cost of care, but they're not being honest about the real costs because they've got all these administrative costs. Mm-hmm. Now, that brings us into something I know you had on your screen a few minutes ago, and that is the care facility in Ramsey.
It is. Come on more. So we're not so that came out on Thursday. I'm pretty sure it was Thursday. There won't be a replacement for Come On More for a number of years. I think they're guessing it's going to be about 2 or 3.
But
so,
isn't that good news? Because a lot of the people there wanted it to remain open for now.
So it is going to remain open, yeah. So it's going to remain open until the new facility is commissioned and ready for service.
Do they need one?
What?
New facility?
I think so, yeah.
Because when we did that interview with, I think it was Vicky and Tina.
Vicky Hewison, I think it was.
Must be 2 years ago, maybe
Yes.
a bit more. They were saying that the residents are comfortable there. They like it there.
Yeah.
Why? And this is another thing government do. Suddenly, the building's at the end of its life.
Well, I know. I think it is an old building now, isn't it? And it probably does need quite a bit more popping into it to keep it up to date. But I think it's not even the issue of actually like redoing the building and giving them a new facility that's the problem. The original problem was the communication around it and the absolute like fear that it put into the residents and the families. And you remember from that interview, those families that spoke to us were very clear, like they'd just had it thrown on them and they had no idea what was happening. Mm. And hopefully now this can give them a little bit of peace of mind and the fact that the facility is going to stay open until the new one's ready. So hopefully they can do a seamless transition into the new one. But also, it's very difficult when you've got people in those kind of homes and getting them used to somewhere new. It's already traumatic enough putting them into them. Never mind them being like, right, look, you're going to a new one, but it'll all be okay. So yeah, that's what's happening with Come On More. But it's a shame that it's taken so long to get some form of clarity because it still isn't actually clear what's going on. Because you and I both know, if government say 2 to 3 years, what are we actually talking about?
But, well, yeah, but it comes back to then the cost.
Yeah.
Now, if the residents there, I mean, the interview we did, they were saying that, okay, if you were to go in now and design something from scratch, it wouldn't meet modern standards, but, you know, is it safe? Is it warm? Is it clean? Is it tidy? The fact it hasn't got, you know, LED chandeliers and what's that new board they have in bathrooms these days instead of tiles?
I don't know.
Is it not angel board? Something. Anyway, you know, all the mod cons. The fact it hasn't got those, does that really matter? Are the people happy there? Is it serving a purpose? Because if we haven't got the money, don't piss them all off and upset them by saying, oh, we could close it, when you haven't got a solution.
Yeah, yeah.
You should say, OK, we know that this facility's ageing. Our long-term aim is to replace it, but we haven't got the money. And just be honest with people and say, but what we will do is we'll make sure that the residents are well cared for, because often it's not really the fabric of the building that matters, it's the care.
Of course it is.
You know, I mean, it's like going to, you know, as you go to these luxury hotels, you don't go to a brand new place that's just been built by, you know, Bovis construction, you might go to somewhere that was built in the 1500s, some castle like, the Balmoral estate or wherever you stay. But the point I'm making is it's about the care, isn't it?
Yeah, of course
it's about the standard of care. Now, all right, if the windows are falling out and the easterly breeze is whistling in, fair enough, you've got to do something about it. But the building's not completely goosed.
Down, is
no,
it?
and this is, again,
well, I think
my concern about it.
I think we need to take a break, Juan.
We do.
And then I want to come back and talk about something that you and I have not shut up about since Wednesday lunchtime. 12 o'clock, to be precise.
What's that?
Rachel Reeves' budget.
Let's do it. Welcome back to Welcome to Friday, and we're here in this very salubrious surrounding today because we haven't got Sam with us this week, so we've decided to push the boat out with our napkins, and old Silver Spoon herself is with us. Again, who we've missed.
Who we've missed?
Who we've missed. You could hear the sincerity in my voice there,
I could
couldn't
hear
you?
the sincerity.
So Sam's not with us this week because he's having his eye out or something, isn't he?
Yeah, they're doing something to Sam's eye. So for all those arseholes that were arseholes about
What,
Sam,
because he wears the sunglasses?
wearing the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yes, Sam was actually Sam's had his operation on his eye now.
Yeah.
So Sam's not going to be around for a few days. It's going to give him at least 24 hours to recover from having things prodded in his eye and cut and all that kind of thing, and then I'm sure he'll be back to it.
Yeah, but he'd want to get back on this to rein us in.
Oh, he will. He will after this next segment anyway.
Yeah, we've probably already had enough letters in to say that we've been cancelled already.
No, just put them in the shredder. I know someone who's got a really good shredder.
Oh, David Ashford.
That's the one.
Yeah, he loves it. We'll have to get him on the show. So,
Rachel Reeves.
Rachel from Accounts.
Rachel from Accounts.
Rachel from Accounts, as
Right.
Lee Anderson likes to call him. Him. Yeah, she has. I mean, I just don't know how this woman can show her face in public. I mean, and Starmer, both of them. Sky, which is not exactly, left-wing Sky, they even ran a piece, clipped together all the things that said, I won't be raising taxes, I won't be raising it on working people, I won't be putting your NI up, I won't be doing this, I won't be doing that.
And guess what she's done?
The complete opposite.
Who would have guessed it?
I mean, we can't even accuse Tynwald members of this sort of behaviour.
I think
Maybe
some
one or
of them,
two of them.
I think some of them left their own devices. We'd probably see a Rachel Reeves style budget come, but let's hope that doesn't happen. Right, where do I even begin? What's your highlight? I actually really, before we get into it, before she delivered her autumn statement, did you see all the tractors in London?
Yes,
And did you hear all the kerfuffle about that?
I did. And there's double standards again, isn't it?
Yeah. So the night it was on, gosh, what day are we? I'm so confused. On Tuesday night, the farmers were told they weren't allowed to come into London, weren't they? In all the tractors. So they'd organised their event, again, peacefully.
Why were they told not to come in?
I'm not sure why they weren't not allowed to come in. I can do a bit of research before the end of this podcast.
It was another certain group protesting.
That'd be fine.
I'm not going to upset all the lefties again, but we know who we're talking about, and their flags and things, and jumping all over war memorials, another appalling behaviour. They apparently, get a police escort in and refreshments. But anyway...
the farmer was arrested as well yesterday morning for turning up. I watched the video of that. And I just, what I find really...
Tyranny.
Remarkable. How long ago was COVID? 5 years ago?
5 years ago.
And farmers were being hailed as heroes during that time, for being our essential workers, for keeping everything going, keeping everyone fed, and being the people that we cannot survive without. And in that amount of time, we've now decided to turn on them.
Well, I think the Met Police are probably the worst force there are. We had the behaviour of we had the Lucy Connolly case over her tweet. We had Graham Linehan, who was yesterday was found not guilty of the harassment. Do you remember him? He was arrested at Heathrow Airport, like some sort of terrorist. The behaviour of these officers. Oh, and then we have the two that have become memes, haven't they? That knocked on the door, wanting the kid's iPhone because the kid had put something on. You know the two police women that were at the door of that house.
I think I have seen this.
You know the one I mean. You know, all of these things. It's just getting out of hand, completely out of hand.
Awful. It's absolutely awful. But I did love seeing all of the photos and the videos from all the tractors arriving. And it gave me a little bit of hope that the country can still go the right way yet, when you still have people like that marching up saying, what the fuck are you doing, basically?
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're not, they're busy people.
Yeah, they didn't want time for this.
They didn't want to fart about going to London. And if they're doing that, they're not like all these scruffy, unwashed, jobless charlatans that are waving their flags every week down there in Whitehall. Whitehall, probably better.
Well, yes, it would be better.
You know, they're not part of that lot. The usual suspects gluing their hands to roads. These are people who are busy and are concerned about their livelihoods. And if they feel the need to do that, somebody in power should be thinking, hang on a minute. You know, why are these people doing this? Well, we know why they're doing it, but it beggars belief.
It's unbelievable. I remember when the whole inheritance tax thing came out, I actually popped, I did an opinion piece on that then. I might dig it back out and actually refresh
I don't think there should be any inheritance tax. No. I know we haven't got it here in the Isle of Man yet. But at the end of the day, everything that somebody's worked for has already been taxed.
Of course it has.
So if they want to leave it to their kids, then they should leave it to the kids. I get sick and tired of the state telling you what you can do with your land.
I think it's absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. Because it's almost kind of like, well, then what's the point in working your ass off all your life? What is the point? Because generally people work their ass off all their life, and if they decide to have children, then they want to leave something to their children normally. But no, we don't want to do that. And I think the thing with farms, you know, I don't want to go into that too much, but people are so deluded and clueless in the fact of how much money they think farmers have. They have no idea the actual costs that go into farming, and the fact that yes, there are some people that are making money from it. Generally, big landowners that are actually renting their farms out. But I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of acres, because really the only way now to actually farm and have it profitable is to go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But with that comes cost and cost and cost and cost. And these farms that we're talking about that are going to get hit by this have been in generations for years. And they're never going to be able to afford to buy them back or to be able to get them back. And that land's just then going to be taken out from being used as farming. It's going to get bought up by developers.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And you've also got, you know, there's a lot of again, I'm all for capitalism and making money. But when you look at the likes of the Bill Gateses of this world, there's a sinister thing there, because I don't know whether it's him, but some of them, they're the ones buying up these farms now and putting, you know, solar farms and things on them. The farmers are selling out because they're no longer viable. What we've got is we're starting to get to the stage where that's not capitalism, what's happening there. That's a form of, you know, extreme socialism. Power in the hands of a few, everybody for the benefit of everybody else. It's very dangerous.
I think the thing is, you've got farmers now that have no choice but to diversify because there isn't enough money in farming itself. And equally, we have got a real issue with getting young people into farming, and especially in the UK. What's that going to do now? It's just going to put more pressure on us, and there are going to be less opportunities for young people to enter into farming if those farms aren't there. But let's go to Rachel Reeves' budget. We both had a bit of a fangirl moment last night, didn't we?
Oh, Kemi.
Oh my God, that woman.
I'm just so divided. I was a member of the Tory party.
I know exactly what you're going to say, 'cause it's exactly what I thought last night.
Well, and you know, all the lefties are going to be screaming at the
Sorry, we're two diehard Tories.
But, you know, I was a huge fan of Maggie, and I was a fan of Boris. Now, Boris had his faults, but the way that party have they got into power with a massive majority. Yes, they were hit with COVID, which was a shambles everywhere, nearly everywhere. But I can't even bring myself to support them. And yet Kemi is such a star.
She is phenomenal.
You know, and she can't now defect to reform, because she would just have no credibility. She's the leader of the Conservative Party, and it's such a shame because I think with the right backing and cabinet around her, she'd be absolutely on fire.
What a Prime Minister she'd be.
Oh, amazing.
She would be. It would be... I think you'd be sort of almost watching Maggie reincarnated, to be honest.
Yeah, but with a completely different twist. I mean...
She is phenomenal.
Her speech was great. There's some really funny moments.
Oh, she's hilarious.
When she talked about interrupting the Cheerios, and but she's destined to fail.
It makes me really sad.
I know.
Because I thought, if I was in the UK, which way would I vote? And I thought the same. I was like, the Conservatives have lost out so many people now to reform because they're knackered.
They're knackered.
I have faith. I have faith with Kemi there. And I would be very much, because I'm split on reform.
People don't trust
the
Tories anymore.
They don't trust them.
It's gone.
No, and I think that's such a desperate shame when you think of the phenomenal people that have come from that party and been in that party, and to see the way that it's gone, I think, it's awful. Now there is always one party that you can trust a little bit less than them.
I don't know if I'm going to like this, but go on.
No, who will people not trust ever? Well, I suppose people have got a bit of a brain cell.
Right, I don't know where you're going with this, but go on.
But it could be worse. It could be Labour.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with it.
Oh right, yeah.
Or the Green Party, which we won't even go into that. Yeah, we've listened to that. But yeah, no, I'd be very devised as to where I would vote if I was in the UK, because I do like quite a lot of what Reform says, but I'm not sure if they're a bit. I don't know. Are they a bit too far for me? Would be my concern.
Well, the only people who are putting that idea in your head is the press.
I know.
Their policies are being dreamt up by the press as some sort of, right wing. But if you look at them, I can't access the thing on here, but they were looking at, they've got everything costed by cutting all this waste. So all the benefits, like the benefits we're giving foreign criminals, overseas aid, getting rid of the nut zero budget, all of these things, they've costed it all out and said, if we got rid of all that crap and concentrated on providing for people, but of course you get the press that like to say, oh, they're just being racist. No, it's nothing to do with race, because British people are all races, but what they're saying is they want to look after our own people. Now, Labour have already showed their colours very quickly.
Yeah,
They didn't even get the feet under the table properly before they shat on everybody.
Yeah.
The Tories have had years and years and have let us down time and time again in a big way. Their biggest mistake was getting rid of Boris over that absolute nonsense in that Partygate thing. Complete nonsense, because Crown buildings were actually exempt from those rules. Why they didn't play that one, I do not know, because the function of government had to continue. So
I know, but I think Partygate was fairly unforgivable.
It was, but not to go on another tangent here, but if you looked at the lockdown rules, they were a nonsense from the start. Fancy not letting people go and visit dying relatives. They're dying, for God's sake. Let people in. But anyway, that's another story. So you're left with Reform, and Reform are surging in the polls.
They are.
And if there was an election, but they're consistently surging because people have had enough.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why I probably would vote. Although a big part of me being quite traditional is a bit like, oh God, could I? But then, I'm a big fan of Night.
Yeah, but I had this discussion with somebody that if I was voting, I think I would have to vote strategically. So let's just take a constituency in the northwest, round sort of, the few areas around the northwest that are blue at the moment, Tory. If Reform, if I was going to vote now and Reform were going to be the clear, winner,
yeah,
I would put my vote with Reform. If, however, I thought, actually Reform have got no bloody chance here because of the way the voting is in the constituency. The last thing I would do is say, well, I've already said I'm fed up with the Tories, I don't want to vote Labour, but I've always voted Tory because I'm loyal to them. I'm going to vote Tory. You could end up with a situation... No, sorry, yeah, I'm going to vote Reform because I'm fed up with them.
Yeah.
You could end up then letting Labour get back in through the back door.
Yes.
So my vote, even though I'm totally pissed off with them, would still go to the Blues because my chosen party haven't got a cat and nails chance of getting in. And I think that's what people are going to have to think about when the Manx election comes round. But we'll come to that another time.
So let's get into our budget. Tax thresholds will be frozen for an additional 3 years from 2028. Oh, you've got a bit of food
You've
in your
just
mouth.
done that,
Sorry.
isn't it? Yeah, so people are going to get poorer.
Correct. Taxes hiked on gambling. I'm not against that completely.
I'll just finish what I'm chewing. Come back to that.
My personal favourite one. New mileage tax on electric cars. That is unbelievable. So we've told everyone, go get an electric car because it's better for the environment and obviously it won't cost you as much because you're not going to get taxed. And, oh wait, what's Rachel done? So now people that
Per mile?
Yeah, per mile.
Something like 3p a mile, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. 3p charge for every mile they drive from April 2028. So it's expected to raise them 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
But like...
For them to piss up the wall.
Yeah, but now think what that's going to do to electric car manufacturers.
Well, I wouldn't buy that. I told people not to waste their money buying one of those stupid things.
But now it's going to completely have the knock-on effect on that industry. But...
And if you've got a hybrid, I think it's 1.5p a mile, probably because
yeah, it is.
You're paying a bit of fuel duty.
Yeah, you are. This one I find absolutely ridiculous. 2-child benefit cap scrapped.
Right, go on.
I think the child benefit is there, and I don't sit here saying we should never have a child benefit. Okay, I appreciate that is a massive help to a lot of people. However, if you can't afford kids...
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm sorry.
You're right.
I'm sorry, Julie,
you're right.
If you can't afford kids, don't have them.
I do agree with you. I mean...
It's a choice
It's
to have
everybody.
children.
Yeah, it's everybody's right to have them, but it shouldn't be for everybody else to pay for them.
I don't want kids, so why am I paying for other people's?
But if anybody wants to be put off having kids, there's a comedian who does these little sketches called Hannah somebody. She's absolutely brilliant, and you watch that and it's just so true. She's like blowing up doing the sketch about the kids, like, I've not been to bloody work because my kids are ill again and I've had to take the day, and it's just so funny. But you're right. I get sick and tired of people when they're going on, oh, there's nothing for kids to do. Somebody should put something on. No, you've got the kids. How about you entertain your kids?
They're your kids.
Yeah, you do stuff with them. But anyway, so...
But whilst I appreciate, because what lefties like to say, but I can appreciate this is the part of why we have the child benefit. The child benefit isn't there for the parent. The child benefit is for the child to bring children out of poverty.
Well,
we're not going to get. We're not going to get into
We know
the
really
poverty.
what it is. It just goes into the pot, doesn't it?
It does, and I think the 2-child benefit thing is. I think that's good, because at least then there's a limit on it. But now, I've got to be really careful.
No, just say it.
I think this will open up doors to people to just keep having kids, because you can just keep getting paid for it, and you can keep getting more money in, and there's no incentive then to go into work and to go carry on and then go bring in more money.
Well, that's the big
because
problem.
then it just keeps opening. So, in theory, you could have 8 kids and you're getting child benefit for all of them.
Yeah.
How much is that costing people?
And not only that, of course, its impact on schools, its impact on doctors. It's, it's a great thing having children, but as you said, it's a decision.
It is a decision.
And,
And equally, while I say that, that's not me saying like, oh, what an idiot having kids. I have so much respect for people that do decide to have children, because it's a bloody hard job. One of my little jobs on the side, I was a nanny for a while.
Were you?
Yes, I was a nanny. I had 5 under 5s at one point.
Oh my God.
So I'm very...
No wonder you hate kids.
No, I don't hate them. The thing is, I actually love kids, but I love handing them back.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm definitely not at a point, maybe it'll change, but I don't see it for me. But that's not then saying, I think, oh, fuck off, sort yourselves out. But there's a little bit kind of like, I don't think you should be in a position where you're relying on that benefit, because if you couldn't afford to have them, that was your choice. You did not have to have them. So pay for them.
Okay.
It's not like
just
me
make
going...
Sure. I'm just making a note of who we've upset this week.
Can I create like horse benefit?
No, because they're a choice as well.
Well, yeah, but I can't go get a handout to feed them.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
In fact, your horse is less of a burden on society.
It is.
It's a net contributor.
It is.
because of course, you're buying in services like farriers,
feed.
vets. I mean, they're all wealthy, aren't they?
Yeah,
but I mean, joking aside, yeah, it is. It shouldn't be. There should always be some help for people who have children.
Absolutely.
But as you say, it can't be an open checkbook.
No, it can't. And I just think. I think, you know what, for as much as I'm like, I think it's really difficult because whilst I appreciate someone can be in a really good financial position and think that everything's absolutely fine, no one can see into the future and no one knows what's going to happen. But equally, and that's why government should be there to help and have those certain types of benefits. But I think to have this open checkbook is dangerous.
Oh, very dangerous.
It's a complete waste of money to do that. So, yeah, that's where I think about that. This one's pretty awful. Salary sacrifice pension contributions above £2,000 to face national insurance. So we're taxing pensions, that's what we're saying.
I mean, it's astonishing, isn't it? I mean, we're taxing people that...
worked the whole life, already paid tax.
They've been paying into the system all their lives. They're being punished as well for any savings they may have.
Yeah.
I won't go into too many details, but I've got a relative who had savings. She's in her late 90s and gets hammered with tax. Now, she can't go and get a second job, well, any job, because she's in her late 90s. So we advised basically through an advisor of a better way of putting that money at her age so she's not going to get taxed. You know, it's just ridiculous.
You shouldn't be having to go to those lengths.
You shouldn't have to even think of that.
No.
Those savings, you know, when you hit a certain age, you should be able to. There's a lot of pensioners now that are able to work. That doesn't mean they should have to.
Also, luxury cars removed from the Motability scheme. Does this mean that you can't use a Rolls Royce anymore to go around with your mobility scooter? Is that what we're talking about?
I can kind of get that a bit, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm drinking from a what's this? This is a Porsche mug from your Porsche on the drive. But I don't think that would cope. Things like that, they're more gimmicks. So go on. What's next?
What's next? Wider inheritance tax rules?
We already don't agree with inheritance tax, so forget that, move on. Oh, hang on, you went past something there. Uber, they're now going to be taxing Uber
and Bolt journeys to be taxed. So ride-hailing apps, including Uber and Bolt, will have to pay the full 20% rate of VAT in a measure being described as a taxi tax. I also saw something about a hospitality tax being potentially brought in. Did you see that bit too? Yes,
and I can't remember what it was, so we'll park that for now. Because I can't remember what it was. But basically, wasn't it to do with...
It was to do with hotels in London. I thought there was going to be like a £3 charge on every night or something.
And there's going to be business rates. Oh, this was another one. Business rates were going to be hiked on properties worth over £500,000.
Yeah.
Well, you know, apart from a few shitty little dodgy barber shops and vape shops in the back streets of Wakefield, most business premises are probably worth £500,000 up. Mm-hmm. So that's going to catch small family businesses, florists, you name it. They're all going to suffer that because the landlords are going to want to recover the money. So that's going to be a disaster for small businesses as well, because you can't get many commercial premises for under £500,000.
Can't get a lot anymore.
I don't think you can get any.
Try finding a house as well. That's not so easy anymore.
So that's going to be another disaster.
National wage increases. So obviously the UK minimum wage will also be going up. There won't be going up as high as ours though.
No.
Their percentage is between it's 4.1%
Yeah.
for those over 21, and then they have the increments below, don't they, which we obviously don't have. Ours is 18 and over, everyone's paid, same. So 18 to 20-year-olds will see an 8.5% increase to 10.85, and 16 to 17-year-olds will see a 6% increase to £8 an hour. But what was quite interesting, I was reading quite a lot about that last night and saw sort of all the comments basically echoing everything that our guys here are saying, in the fact of, well, who's going to be paying someone that much to do that at that age? And well, that's the argument here as well, isn't it? But I found one quite funny, and I actually have not done the old maths check on it, but one was like, oh, who's going to be paying a 16-year-old, like over 20 grand a year to do that? And I thought, oh, count yourselves lucky, because we're going to be paying 18-year-olds 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
I think it's a shame too. Now, should we take a break, come back and go on to some Manx stories and call it a day? Because we've been going for about 50 minutes now, Jude.
Yeah, it will be edited down though. There's a few bits of waffle I'm going to take out.
Okay. Welcome back to Welcome to Friday with me, Charlie Murray, and not Sam Turton, Juan Turner. We've brought the boss in this week. Oh, you've been in 2 weeks.
Well, I'm not really the boss. I mean, I'm bossed around, mainly when you're here. It's been at the same time, although you left me with Raving Lefty Sam last week, I wasn't bossed around to the same extent as when you're here.
I don't know what you mean.
So I'm just wondering whether all this is buttering me up for something. Whatever it is, the answer is no.
You know how wages are increasing?
Yeah, here we go, yeah.
No, because do you know what? I understand that things need paying for.
Do you? So are you negotiating the wages down?
No, I'm not negotiating the wages down, but I'm not going to be a greedy, entitled, think the world owes me something kind of person that should get paid
take
for
the silver
breathing.
spoon back out your mouth. Right, what have we got this week? Tingles, can we start with some cat's eyes that are not cat's eyes?
I did see this. Michelle Hayward, our dear DIY minister, she's got a bit of slating on Facebook.
Again?
Yeah, no, nothing new. About the cat's eyes, the taunt cat's eyes in Santon.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Well, what happened was these cat's eyes appeared. Now, cat's eyes normally delineate, great word that, delineate the edge of a carriageway. So down the side and down the centre, marking the carriageway, right?
Right.
Now, some have appeared down the centre of the lane in Santon, but there was only like half a dozen of them or something. And people are going, what the hell is this? If you're on a motorbike, which incidentally,
lethal.
Apparently, they're right on the correct line. People say, oh, this should be to the side. If you're taking your test, they're right on the exact line of where you're supposed to be in the road. Now, I've no motorcycle people have told me this. Anyway,
I'm more of a Vespa driver myself.
It appears that these things have been placed by Mad Michelle's team, and they're Bluetooth. Sounds very James Bond. They're counters. They're gathering data.
Data?
Yeah. Why, I do not know. They used to put the rubber band across the road. Do you remember the two rubber strips, and you'd go over it?
Yes.
And there'd be a little counter padlocked to a lamppost or something. Well, apparently these things are the new mod. They just piss around, don't they?
But they're dangerous, the thing is.
Yeah, but, it's new, it's shiny, we've got to have them. Why? Why? They must know how many bloody cars use the road between Santon and Ballasalla.
So there was how much did they cost?
Oh, I don't know how much they've cost. I've not really. I just rolled my eyes and thought they're at it again. The DOI are at it again. Instead of going out and concentrating on fixing the roads and things like that, they just piss around with these things. Do some proper work. But again, that's keeping people in offices busy, because some project manager will have decided on that. It'll be somebody desk-bound, I can guarantee it. We're going to do that. We're going to get this data, and then we're going to analyse it. We're going to do a report. It's going to go to the department. I know exactly how it works in there. Spent 2 years in the Department of Transport, as it was, the forerunner to the DOI. They used to get slagged off, so they changed the name. Hope no one had noticed. It's even worse now. So anyway, down at old Bun Trogolis headquarters at the sea terminal, bit of Manx there. I'll keep Phil going happy. there's obviously a load of paper shufflers decided they're going to need this data for something. Why?
I don't know. Because apparently there's not enough that needs doing elsewhere.
Why?
We just like to add more jobs, though, to make ourselves look really busy, but not actually fix the things that really need fixing.
Absolutely.
It's beggars belief. But I want.
So those, those.
Well, Michelle is no longer the only daffodil queen, or the only queen on helping. Well, no, she's not the only. She is still the only daffodil queen, but she's not the only MHK anymore that likes to go to potholes and pose with them.
Okay.
So we've had Douglas South MHK, Sarah Maltby, post to her socials that she happened to be driving down Manor Drive when a rogue pothole was being taken down. She decided she'd have a word and personally...
A pothole taken down? That's a phrase I've not heard before.
No, neither.
Does she mean filled in?
Yes. Yes, as in being taken down, as in it was being destroyed, I'm assuming, and filled in and fixed.
Right, okay. Just carry on.
Don't get into the formalities of it. So she decided she'd have a word and personally thank the DOI workers for their service, but ended up stopping and watching the entire operation instead. She promised she didn't get in the way. She said, honestly, I find the fact that I now find road maintenance fascinating tells you everything you need to know about my current social life.
It does indeed.
Big thanks to the boys for their patience in answering my questions. This time next year I might be on the tools with them. Does this count as work experience? So yes, there's Sarah Maltby with a shovel and a pothole. So I'm glad to see that we
Well,
now
they're used to
have,
digging a hole, aren't they? You know, it's when you're in trouble, stop digging.
Well, I'm just really glad to see that we've got real problems within our society, but we're going to go down to the DOI workers and watch them do their job and just think, I'd love to know how much that whole exchange actually cost the taxpayer. It was the bit that got me.
My biggest thing is that they've actually, you know, a pothole's been filled in. I think that should be breaking news.
Isn't it?
Well, we should get Josh Stokes down there from Granada Television to do a feature on it.
I mean, I had a fun little idea that for Christmas, instead of an advent calendar, every day for December until Christmas, we could have a new pothole that arrives. I want the people of the Isle of Man to give me the 25 best potholes.
The problem with that is there's more than 25.
I know, but the real stars of the show. Maybe Sarah Maltby could help me out, because she knows where all the potholes are.
So Sarah's been filling in potholes. You mentioned there that she said she might be doing it this time next year. Does that mean Yes, it'll be after the election.
It will be after the election.
Is that a declaration she's not standing?
It's either a declaration she's not standing, she's thinking she may not get back in, or she's going to do it as a part-time job to get experience within the DOI with aims of being DOI minister.
Who knows? Watch this space.
Watch this space.
Yes, but at least, of course, there is at least one pothole in Douglas South that's been filled in. Now, the other thing that happened while you were away is I had a message from Rob Callister.
Rob Callister.
Rob Callister.
The man who tells everyone to go look at his speeches.
Rob, if you're watching, hello. Yes, because I had a bit of a pop in the podcast about Rob, and the great thing about Rob is he doesn't take it to heart. He says, yeah, really loved it, doesn't agree with me, great, and that's what we want.
That's perfect.
That's what we want,
Absolutely
not people
perfect.
hiding behind little pseudonyms.
No.
So I thought I'll give him a mention this week, because I did say in last week's podcast, and this is a warning to all Tynwald members, this election next year, the public won't give a shiny shite what you said in a speech. They will be concerned about what you actually voted for or against. And that was, I think, was the point I was making, because Rob had said about it was a manifesto pledge that he couldn't break.
Yeah.
However, my side to that is, okay, if I just put in my manifesto, I will support the rise in the minimum wage, and then the proposal comes through that says we're going to put the minimum wage up 60%, which is a complete nonsense.
You cannot support that.
Yeah.
Exactly. No,
so, you know, I don't entirely agree with Rob there. I get what he's saying.
Totally, because we have a DFE minister that said he would never be in Comyn, and look what he did. So I totally get that, and I do respect an element of that for Rob for saying that, because I get it. But equally, that is a promise that you made then on the...
They could all use that excuse.
They can, and I think it's really difficult when you can't see into the future, you don't know what's going to happen, but common sense must prevail, and that must come in and actually go, can we afford this? Can businesses afford this?
But it's a lesson, isn't it?
Yeah. Or is there another way we could actually give those low paid, not really low paid on 30 grand now, more money to take home?
I think...
And there was a reason.
That is a classic example on how you back yourself into a corner.
Yes.
And I think that should be used as a case study for any candidates thinking of standing. Do not make wild promises in your manifesto. Think of the consequences, because nobody will stand up and say they don't support a rise in the minimum wage. Who would? But if that rise, like this one, is so unrealistically ridiculous, then you can't support it. But if you're then saying, well, bloody hell, I promised to, what, at any cost?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's something I'll say. But, you know, I've some great robust discussions with Rob, and the great thing is, you know, he doesn't fall out with you. He had a big bust up in Keys this week. He got a bollocking from the Speaker.
Go on, tell me about it.
Speaker Wasserson. And that was over him and Michelle had a little bit of a...
Rob and Michelle had a bit of a...
Oh, yes. There was a bit of a sniping.
Do you have a bit of a clip of that we can pop in?
I think we might have a clip. Let's play the clip.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. No, I'm not denying the law. We are taking a rather wider view of allowing everyone to submit any comments they like. Some of those may be objections, some of those may be not, and we will take all of those on board.
And they'll all be acknowledged.
No, they won't. Will you stop?
Order. Right. I'm going to allow Ms Edge to ask a question. I am going to encourage the honourable member for Oncourt to not continue to tackle from a sedentary position.
And you take
now,
it beside
order. Having just advised the honourable member not to do it, I don't... Order. Don't expect it to carry on. Well, I'm going to warn the honourable member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, supplementary question. Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. That's twice now in a couple of weeks that Juan and Watty's had to put that voice on.
His best headmaster voice.
This voice, let's hear it again.
Order.
Because you remember, he did the same order at Chris Thomas the other week as well, when he wanted to go and watch something upstairs in Ledgecombe. So, so it's been a very lively...
Chris Thomas, my favourite MHK.
Well, yeah. Other candidates are available. But it's all starting to unravel now, isn't it? Because it's getting towards the end of term.
Oh, it's getting exciting.
And they're all now ready to, you know, politically assassinate each other.
Brilliant.
And yeah, so that's all getting out of hand. Other things that have happened this week, just very quickly. Manxman still can't go to Liverpool because that's all turned to crap again, of course. So still no idea on when the Rolls-Royce shiny Liverpool terminal is going to be fully functional.
A glorified shed.
This is the one that they entered for that. And do you remember they made a big thing about it? It's been nominated for an award. No, they nominated it.
Yes,
that all went quiet, so maybe it didn't win it because it's crap. But they are going to Larne. Do you want to go to Larne?
Who are going to Larne?
Steam Packet. Oh, it was announced when you were away. They're going to Larne. The Ben McCree is coming back into service and will be going to Larne.
Oh, right, okay. What, over the winter?
Blank.
I didn't know. I've not
Brand new. Listeners, you can check it out on Manx.news. The Ben McCree is going to be the new ship that is going to be going backwards and forwards. I think it's 3 times a week or something.
Right, okay.
Find out the details on Manx.news. But they've opened up that route to Larne.
Does that mean they'll be taking freight on that?
I think it will be, yeah, because Larne is a big freight port.
Yeah, I know it is. I've driven a lorry there myself. You know,
inconveniently been there once.
Oh yeah, it's an absolute pain in the ass. But do you know what I really like about that? This is quite a nerdy thing. Their DEFA, they have a brilliant actual posted DEFA for DEFA at Larne. So when you go up with livestock, the vet you'll have to go into the DEFA bit. The vet will make you drop the ramp, and they'll come in and check for the microchip and double check all the passports and everything. You don't have any of that bringing livestock in here.
Right.
So,
okay.
Interesting thing for you there, sorry.
Yeah,
I just really like the fact that
I'll just do Sam Turton's voice, face.
I actually just really like that DEFA are doing a job.
Brilliant.
There
Well, that's great news. It's great news, that, Charlie.
What else is going on?
Anyway, they're going to Larne. So I hope all those whinging people who have been slagging off the steam packet for years because they should be going to Ireland 5 times a day.
Northern Ireland, so you be careful.
Well, the island of Ireland. Yes, I know it's Northern Ireland, but they're all whinging like hell that there's not enough services to Ireland, so I look forward to that being an absolute load-busting service.
I really hope it is taken up, to be honest. I really do.
Oh yeah,
hope
I don't want to see the failure, but it's like when I say to them, they go on about that. You know, there should be more flights to Dublin. Well, you know, there's generally 2 a day, and it goes half empty.
Yeah, it
so
does.
stop whinging about it.
The same as when they used to fly to Belfast City and Belfast International.
Yeah.
I'd be on those flights quite a bit, and it was generally like me and 4 other people.
And then what you get is you get people when they announce a new route like Larne, or an aircraft company announces a new route to, say, you know, Bristol or whatever, they go, "What about Inverness?" Because they happen to visit a relative once every 18 months in Inverness. They think these should put on a service to Inverness. And then you get, "What about Stansted? What about East Midlands?"
Oh, you don't want to be getting
like,
Stansted or
you know,
Luton,
because they, you know, they go once a year, so I think there should be a... But anyway...
Do you know what is good?
So
the
they
Southampton route's coming back.
I'll give them... yeah, is it?
Yes, it is. Logan Air.
Right, well, that's very handy for... Oh, Logan Air.
I'm pretty sure it's Logan Air.
Well, we won't be able to afford to go on that then. But good on the steam packet. They've opened the route, they did the trials, and...
Good.
I you know... Will it work? Well, I just hope all those people...
Now.
It's got to be.
Yeah, of course
it's got
it does.
to be.
Of course it does.
Because there's no use if it's unaffordable.
No.
And, you know, if it is a bit of a freight run that takes passengers, good. But are we going to see, you know, any costs coming down? Time will tell. There we are. So I don't think there was anything else this week. I'll probably be driving away from the podcast thinking, oh, I should have mentioned this.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I was going to ask you who your top 5 favourite MHKs are, and then I thought, no, I won't do that.
Oh.
Would you like to?
I'm just underwhelmed, I think, by just how poor this last 5 years has been in terms of what they, as a collective, have done for the people.
Yeah.
They've not been short of money, like they say they are. They've got the money, but all they've done is expand rules, regulations. They've allowed the regulators to drive the industries into the ground. Finance is on its arse.
Yeah.
E-gaming's gone out the door.
Won't be long before construction's that way. And that's the bit that's really quite upsetting.
Yeah.
Farming's on its arse.
And they've had the ability, particularly as buying the steam packet, to turbocharge the economy.
Yes, they have, yeah.
And they've not done it. They've just come up with excuses. They've been in disarray. And what have they done that's been good? Nothing's been good. They've not sorted Manx care out. People still can't get a dentist. I don't think there's one single achievement of this 5 years that we can say that was a success story. Back in the 80s, they built the breakwater, they built the Sulby Reservoir. They had some big things that really made a difference to people's lives. In the 90s, they did all the water treatment plants, so we had better quality drinking water. There was all of these things they achieved and funded properly. What have we done in the last 5 years other than increase people's costs of living, hammered people's taxes, gone through the roof for charges for just about everything, and we've then got now, you know, you've got this border force down at the ports now, you know, all about keeping us safe. No, that's just another, you know, that's the police's job. But what we've done is we've created another load of bureaucracy, charges. I mean, it just, where's it going to end? So all of those MHKs that have been responsible for that need to be out next September, because they're the ones that have put the burden on everybody. And it's just not good enough, is it?
It's not good enough. And on that note, is that us done?
Apart from that, everything's great. I'm going to have the Ferrero Rocher here. Can I have that now we're finished, or is that got to go back?
No, you can
it's
have
got to
the
go back in the
Ferrero
box.
Rocher. No, I'm not. You may have it.
Yes.
I'm not a socialist that's going to keep it all for myself.
Does your staff unwrap these for you?
No, I do it myself.
Oh, right. Oh, God, cutbacks.
I know. And on that note...
It's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.